Commissioner Baumann, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the flag which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sergio, could you call roll?
Certainly. Chairman Morrissey,
Here.
Vice Chair Malik,
Here.
Commissioner Rosales,
Present.
Commissioner Balma,
Present.
Commissioner Anthony indicated he would not be here today, Commissioner Dodds,
Here.
and Commissioner Ogden. Let the record show that a majority of the Planning Commission is present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Mary Sue, do we have any matters not on the agenda?
Chair Morrissey, I do not see any, no.
Okay. Could we get a motion to approve the minutes from the prior meeting?
It's been so long. I think I was here, so I'll make a motion.
Can we get a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Ogden seconded the motion. Can you please vote, and can you use your microphones, I was instructed to say.
Press real hard. Push real hard on it. There you go.
Real hard.
Perfect.
Use that thumb.
So 5-1.
Okay.
The record state, yep.
Let the record show that the motion passes 5-0. I didn't catch you. Oh, there it is. Commissioner Malik abstained.
I see nothing on the consent calendar nor the transportation items, so we can go right to the public hearings. And we have 2 items tonight. Item number 4 is consideration of a regular coastal permit requesting to convert an existing garage into a recreation room and construct a new 589 square foot garage in 2027 South Pacific Street and South Oceanside neighborhood planning area and the appealable area of the coastal zone. The project site is designated single family detached residential by the city's general plan, low density by the city's local coastal program land use, and is zoned R1. It's for the McDermott residents at 2027 South Pacific Street. Applicant Jeff and Ashley McDermott. Could we get disclosures beginning with you, Commissioner Ogden? No discussion. Commissioner Rosales.
Staff report.
Staff report and live in the neighborhood, familiar with the house.
Okay.
Familiar with the site, staff report, and then Google Maps.
Okay.
Read staff report, and I'm very familiar with the area.
Okay, so we'll now hear a presentation by staff. Natalie?
Hello, good evening. And bear with me while I get the presentation on the screen. Good evening, Chair. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Natalie Vasquez with the Planning Division, and I'm here tonight to discuss Agenda Item 4 for regular coastal permit, RC 23-00012. The applicant is requesting a regular coastal permit to allow for the conversion of the existing garage into a media room or recreational room and construct a new 589 square foot garage located at 2027 South Pacific Street. The project site is situated within the coastal zone and the South Oceanside neighborhood planning area. The property has a land use designation of coastal residential low density and is located within the R1 single-family residential zoning district. The property is bordered by single-family residential to the north, south, east, and the Pacific Ocean to the west. The property also lies within the appeal jurisdiction of the California Coastal Commission. Therefore, a regular coastal permit is required. As shown on the floor plan, the existing garage would be converted to a media room, which is currently connected to the residence via a breezeway. The interior alterations will include a bar area, storage room, and powder room. The new 589 square foot garage would be attached to the media room and would include space for 2 vehicles, a bike rack, and an accessible attic by way of pull-down stairs. The proposed architectural design would match the French Normandy-themed architecture of the St. Malo Beach community. The addition of the new garage includes 2 wooden garage doors, half-timbered exterior stucco walls with herringbone brick panels, painted blue doors and windows, and a wood shake roof with clay tile hips and ridge. Minimal exterior alterations will be required to the media room. The design of both the media room and the garage will maintain a consistent aesthetic across the entire property. In terms of zoning, the project conforms with the development standards for the R1 zone in regards to lot coverage, setbacks, height, and parking, as shown on the table. As detailed in the staff report, staff has evaluated the project and finds it consistent with the local coastal program, general plan, and zoning ordinance. There will be no impact to the public coastal access, and the project is proposing an ancillary structure to an existing single-family residence in the form of a media room and new 2-car garage, which is consistent with the intent of the low-density residential designation. As noted in the previous slide, the project also complies with the development standards of the R1 zone. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission confirm issuance of a Class 3 categorical exemption per the California Environmental Quality Act, Article 19, Section 15303E, new construction or conversion of small structures, and approve regular coastal permit RC 23-0012 by adopting Planning Commission Resolution 2024-P11 with findings and conditions of approval attached herein. This concludes my presentation. Staff and the applicant is available for any questions.
Thanks, Natalie. Do we have any questions for Natalie? Commissioner Ballmer.
I read the staff report, I pretty much understand it, but just for the reference of just from the staff's perspective on the setback situations, like on the existing structure, it does cross into the setback, so it's kind of like a non-conforming. How does staff review projects in the future with that same situation? Because I know we've had several projects since I've been on Planning Commission that have had.
I know the specific side where the expansion is occurring, it does conform with the current setbacks of 5 feet. Mm-hmm. And I know the other side, on the north side, there is the guest house that was constructed back in 1997. It was approved under a Planning Commission Resolution number 97-P30. So at the time, it did conform to the standards. So in the future, sorry, maybe Sergio can take over.
Commissioner Ballmer, thanks for your question. So pursuant to Article 35, that the site was developed under the rules at the time in place, and it's considered conforming. What Article 35 says is additions, expansions of existing legally non-conforming structures, any expansion that is proposed for them have to be conforming to the current zoning standards, which this project is. Mm-hmm. So that's how we would treat that type of situation. Now, if they wanted to expand that non-conforming and make that non-conformity greater, that's something that we'd have to figure out if it was permissible or not. Right. It would likely require some sort of variance, and I'm not sure, it's the bar is pretty high to make the findings for a variance. There's no unique circumstances in this situation, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. Yeah. Tonight we're talking about an addition that's completely conforming to the current rules that are in place.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Any additional questions?
I don't see any. Thank you.
Thanks.
Does the applicant like to make a presentation now, or wait? Thank you.
Thank you for consideration of this project.
Could you identify yourself, please?
My name is Paul Williger. I'm the architect for the project.
Thanks, Paul.
The owners, Jeff and Ashley McDermott, appreciate your consideration of the project. This house has been in Ashley McDermott's family since she was a child, and so I know she's very happy to have it back in her own family and is very committed to the quality and character that the current residence exhibits. This is a modest addition to the existing residence, essentially to just give a space other than their living room for their kids and friends to be able to entertain, and rebuilding a one-story garage that's purposely kept lower than the roof line of the existing garage to, keep the scale and character.
Thank you. Do we have any speakers tonight?
Chair Morrissey, actually, we do not.
So this is a public forum, so if anybody would like to speak and address this subject, now would be the time to come up. Okay, I see no one, so bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Rosales.
Yeah, I'll move approval.
Do we have a second?
I would second.
We have a second. Please vote.
Let the record show that the motion passes 6-0.
Item number 5 is to nominate a planning commissioner representative for the Downtown Advisory Committee for a 3-year term.
Chair Morrissey, if I may add just a clarification, this number 5 was placed under the inappropriate heading on the agenda. It really should have been under the discussion items. It's just for clarity for anyone who might be listening at home. But yes, it's a nomination for the Downtown Advisory Committee representative for the Planning Commission.
Commissioner Rosales.
Chair Morrissey, if I could ask you to expand on what that means?
So the Downtown Advisory Committee is kind of like this forum, but it's for just downtown developments, and it's very similar to this venue. And it meets on Wednesdays, depending upon how many deals are coming through. And voted on it, a deal is voted on and it'll go to the council or not. But anyway, that's pretty much what it is. So it's relegated to the downtown. Could you expand on that, Sergio?
I could expand a little bit more, Chair Morrissey. So the Downtown Advisory Committee serves just as what the name would imply, is that they're very similar to the Planning Commission. The only difference is they don't have any approval authority. They only make recommendations to the Community Development Commission. So the City Council sitting as the Community Development Commission for downtown developments. The regular calendar for the Downtown Advisory Committee is just 4 quarterly meetings a year, so a meeting each quarter. Every once in a while, we have the need to have a special meeting. So in case there's a project that's kind of in a place where it needs to move forward to City Council, but there's not a meeting for a couple months, we might ask the members to convene for a special meeting to be able to move that project along in a more expeditious manner. But the role is very similar to that of the Planning Commission, where they review developments and make recommendations to the City Council on downtown development.
Sergio, so there's a planning commissioner representative, and then what are the other, on the South O's got a representative? Who are the other representatives?
Chair Morrissey, I'm a little embarrassed to tell you I'm not prepared to answer that today.
I know Scott Ashton with the chambers on it, Heather Manley, Tom Malloy's on it.
I know there's a couple members at large. There's a member, I think, from the EDC. There's a member, I'm not exactly sure. I don't have that memorized, but there is 9 members. It's a large body.
Yeah.
And it's made up of various, I think, as an example, There is a representative from the Chamber of Commerce. Trying to think of the other membership right now. Yeah, Scott's on there.
Yeah, Scott Ashton. Yeah,
yeah.
okay. So anyway, we're nominating someone from our body to represent us. So are there any nominations?
Well, I was just going to make a comment. As far as who will be nominated, I would hope that since I've been seeing so many of the projects in the downtown that have come, not before us, but from the downtown advisory, some of them, I don't understand why they even get as far as they have, but I would just hope that whoever we select has an architectural eye, or at least an aesthetic eye, to kind of maybe influence people, that maybe pink isn't the real color for Oceanside, or there might be something else coming down the pike, but some of these elevations and what I've seen coming forward is going to be pretty, not Oside, so.
Thing you have an interest in.
No, I don't, I'm just saying whoever it is, I just please look at it like, would you want to be living across the street from that, maybe? I don't know, something like that. Just how would you feel about that project? So that's all.
Michael?
Commissioner Ogden.
I just think that's very important. I mean, downtown is so important. Sorry about that. Downtown is so important, and it seems that all the money that's been put in the city of Oceanside really is downtown is kind of the symbol of that money being put in there. And downtown development is so crucial to, in my opinion, the economic and development of the city of Oceanside. It's just a very important deal.
Commissioner Mallett.
I would agree with Commissioner Ogden, and since he lives downtown, if he's interested, I would like to nominate Michael Ogden to be on that advisory board if he's interested.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Can we vote then?
I guess.
Let the record show that the motion passes 5-0 with Commissioner Ogden abstaining.
I know, so you don't know if you want to be on it?
I don't think you should.
We provide the Planning Commission a little advisory on the nominations for the Downtown Advisory Committee. So this is just a nomination. The City Council ultimately makes the final appointment. That appointment won't happen at the earliest in August, since the City Council is on recess for July, the month of July. So we do have a meeting scheduled for July 24th. Right now, there's no items that are proposed to be on that agenda. But if we do have a meeting, the current city member would attend that meeting until the nomination becomes official by the appointment through the City Council.
So the next item on our agenda was discussion items, and we took care of that. I see no miscellaneous actions. So now we're at the city planners, commissioners' reports. Starting with myself, I have no report. And Vice Chair Malik.
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Rosales.
Nothing.
Commissioner Baumann.
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Dodds.
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Anthony is not here. Commissioner Ogden.
Yeah, I just have one comment. I did attend the Oceanside Coastal Neighborhood Association group, their May 21st meeting, and I'm glad that I went there because there's a lot of disinformation within the city that goes around. One of the things they were most concerned about was the circulation impacts that's going to have by the improvements at the transportation center. And we've sit through a couple of presentations. I think the most recent ones was Toll Brothers' presentation before Oceanside Chamber of Commerce as well. And some of the things that they were talking about were, they didn't, I don't know whether it's a trust issue or not, but I mean, the city realizes the importance of that particular piece of property and how vital that's going to be to the catalyst for downtown, especially as a transportation mode. So it was nice for me to be there because I could at least quell some of the comments that they had concerning that. So,
Thank you. Commissioner Rosales.
I don't have a report, but when we get the city planner, if you could touch on the general plan and Eddie Jones, please.
City Planner, you are up to bat.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an update. So interestingly enough, we don't have any items scheduled for the month of July, so we're likely to be dark in July. It's a weird time where we have plenty of applications on file, just none are in the right position to move forward to the Planning Commission. And some of the projects that we do have, they're ready to move forward. They're not coming to this body. They're going to the Downtown Advisory Committee and then the City Council. That being said, we do have some projects scheduled for August, the latter meeting in August. So we may be very well in the position to cancel the next 3 meetings, so the 2 meetings in July and the first meeting in August. On August 26th, we have a project. It's a city project, the water utilities project at the Mission Basin facility, which is located just near Ocean Camp, the Ocean Camp project there off of Fireside Drive. The project entails the raising of an existing facility and the construction of a new 9,000 square foot building. Other project components include a couple new wells, which really aren't the purview of this body. The review of this body is for the actual building. But the intent of the project is to expand the city's capacity to harvest our own water. And so this would triple the amount of water that the city could harvest. So that's a good project to move forward. Also on that meeting, it's yet to be determined if it's going to be bring forward at that meeting or not, but there's 2 development plans, conditional use permits associated with the Sci-Fi fiber optic project. They're 2 huts, they call them. They're 2 basically junction points for where all these fiber optics come together for the high-speed internet service they hope to provide in the future. One of those is located at the fire department training facility over there in the industrial area, and the other one is a little piece on the El Corazon property, a little tiny little building that's going to be proposed there. So those will likely, depends on we could get them moved forward fast enough. Those may be coming at the end of August also. Moving on to City Council, the next meeting on August 6th, there will be an appeal of the variance, the denial of this body for a variance and regular coastal permit for 1842 South Pacific Street. That decision has been appealed to the City Council, so they'll be hearing that at their August 6th meeting. And also, a project that this body considered quite some time ago and approved, the Loma Alta Terraces project, will be going back to City Council for further review. With respect to the general plan amendment, thank you for bringing that up, Chairman or Commissioner Rosales. Just this last week, there was really the last opportunity for public engagement. We had a community forum online where we made the public aware that the draft elements are now available for public review, along with the draft environmental impact report that's been prepared for the project. At this time, staff is soliciting input on both the elements and the environmental impact report. All the elements are available on the city's website, on the Plan Division page, under the CEQA documents for General Plan Phase 2. So I encourage this body to take a look at those documents, because the idea is that we'd be bringing it forward to this body for a recommendation to City Council sometime in October. Yep. It's an exciting time. There's a lot of still vetting to do of those documents, and so we welcome your input at your convenience. With respect to the Eddie Jones project, and my understanding is that they're finalizing the response to comments received on the EIR. I think the EIR comment period closed at the end of December. It's been some time now. The applicants and the environmental consultants been diligently preparing those response to comments. I'm not exactly sure when that might be ready to come to this body, but it'll probably be sometime in the early fall. Is there any other questions I can answer with respect to either of those projects?
Oh, no, not of those projects.
Okay.
Is it okay? I have a question, or actually just a comment. The new pump station on Oceanside Boulevard, just past the old Fresh and Easy, people have asked me like several times, what is that? You know, because they were curious, because it looks good, right? But there's no sign that says what it is. So like 2 people have said the city should be proud of that, and they should put a sign on it that says City of Oceanside, if it's a pump station, whatever it is. What is it?
Sewage lift station.
Pump station sounds better than sewage, but it's okay. However you want to name it, you could say what it is, because I think people are like looking at it and admiring it, and it's kind of a cool. I mean, I know we got involved in the design of that building. I remember that that little,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have,
So it's a nice looking, pump station, so anyway, or whatever, sewage lift station, whatever they want to call it. So maybe they'd consider putting a sign on it so that people would know.
if I could, given that I work in that industry.
Oh, that's right, you do.
Yeah. It's very uncommon that cities or districts will identify those. They want them to kind of shrink back into the neighborhood without being really visible but it is, it's white and it's sitting right there. It's hard to miss. And it is architecturally really nice.
Nice to have an air of mystery in that industry.
I
so
guess.
It's a good thing.
Air of mystery.
So they don't like to
And
name those things.
It is a sewage lift station. is
Yeah,
what it is.
sewage lift station, okay,
Yeah,
got it.
it's,
All right.
this
Never
body
mind.
did consider that application
Yeah.
some years ago. There was some discussion about the design. The design did get altered compared to what the planning commission reviewed at the time it was brought forward to them. To Commissioner Rosales' point, you wouldn't even recognize where the existing sewer lift station is, just about half a block away.
Right.
It's just a little nondescript building. This is probably the nicest lift
Well, yeah, the
station
other one, you
in
don't even
San
want to
Diego County.
recognize. That one's just behind that chain link fence, it doesn't
But
look like anything.
I will forward that information to
Is
the
that thing
Water
going to go
Utilities
away, the other
Department.
one, or is it still going to stay there, the other one that's behind the chain link?
Once it's, my understanding is once it's fully operational, that the other one will be decommissioned completely.
Good.
Commissioner Malik.
Sergio, I do have a question. I had somebody ask me about roundabouts on Coast Highway, and I couldn't remember what the situation was with that. Could you elaborate a little on that?
I'm a little familiar with that project, not 100%. It is a current capital improvement program project, so it's being designed right now. They're in the design phase. My understanding is that there's 5 roundabouts proposed between the stretch between Wisconsin and Neptune. I'm not exactly sure where all those roundabouts are going to go. I know one is going, I believe, at Missouri Street, because there's been some discussion how that interacts with the proposed modifications at the Oceanside Transit Center. I think there's going to be one, I don't know where they're all at. But we do have those, there's a whole webpage dedicated to that project, and all the project information is on there, and also identifies kind of the basic layout of where those roundabouts will go.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time tonight.
Some updates on Ocean Camp. That development seems to be going. The developer for that is in Munich today, surfing the new Munich surf camp over there to decide what kind of methodology they're going to use on the engineering to make the waves. So that looks good. And then talking to Level 10, the contractors on the arena, I think they are planning for their first event in the middle of September. And so that's progressing nicely, so. Is there anything else that we want to talk about? Otherwise, we're going to end the meeting.
It's adjourned.
Meeting adjourned. Okay.
Recording stopped.